Let's try to understand what is electric charge. So electric charge is a property of matter that causes it to experience a force when near other electrically charged objects. So that's what we actually saw just now. So electric charge is something which we cannot see. It's not an object. It's a property which is exhibited by matter. Matter means anything that occupies space. So solid, liquid, gas, everything falls under matter. So any object will have a property within it, and due to this property, it will have a tendency to experience a force, an attraction or repulsion whenever it's near some other electrically charged object. So let's look at some of the examples again. Let's take a simpler example, the same example of a balloon. You rub this balloon on your hair, dry hair. What happens then? See, before you rub the balloon and you bring it to near a wall, what happens? The balloon didn't show anything, didn't exhibit any property. But after rubbing the balloon, it means once it's rubbed, the balloon gets electrically charged. And once it is electrically charged and is brought near this wall, what happens? It tends to attract, it sticks to the wall. So once it's electrically charged and it's brought near some other object, so they tend to attract each other. And this balloon is now electrically charged because of rubbing. And if I bring this balloon to the wall, it will stick to it. Now see, if I bring this balloon back to your hair after rubbing, do you think that there will be some force which will be experienced between the hair and the balloon? Yes, of course. Because now the balloon is electrically charged, your hair is also charged. So, therefore, there will be some sort of attraction between your hair and the balloon. So, any object will have a property because of which it will experience a force, because it's due to the force that this attraction happens. Now, attraction, what do we mean by attraction? Attraction means two objects tending to come near each other, so there's a force which is existing, which tries to bring the two objects close. So that's what attraction is. Similarly, if there exists a force which tends to take the objects away from each other, that is repulsion. So every object will have a property due to which it will experience a force when it's near an electrically charged object. So in this case, a balloon is electrically charged object. So when the balloon is near the wall, so the wall will experience a force due to the presence of the electrically charged balloon. And that is why attraction happens. And that is why the balloon sticks to the wall. Now the question is, what do we mean by this electric charge? Where is this charge coming into an object? Even if I rub the balloon on my hair, how do we know that the balloon is getting electrically charged just after rubbing? So, what special is happening during the process of rubbing? Well, in order to understand that, we actually need to understand the concept of charged body. When do we say that a body is charged? Now, when we talk about electric charge, experimentally it was found that two kinds of charge exist, right? The names given to them is positive and negative. One is positive charge, and the object with positive charge is said to be positively charged body. Similarly, an object with a negative charge is said to be a negatively charged body. Now, the names positive and negative were given conventionally. Now, the question is, what do we mean by positive charge? Just look at this. This is an atom. You can say the structure of atom. All of you know that all matter is made up of molecules, and molecules are made up of small particles called atoms. So if you look at the structure of each atom, here each atom is made up of three types of particles: protons, electrons, and neutrons. Now what are these? See, inside every atom, this central part, this is called nucleus. And this central part contains protons and neutrons. And the these particles which are revolving around this nucleus, they are called electrons. Electrons are mobile. They can move. They are moving in orbits surrounding the nucleus. So electrons are moving in circular paths. Okay. So these electrons are negatively charged particles, and protons are positively charged particles, and neutrons are neutral. They neither have positive charge nor negative charge. So just now I was telling you that two types of charges exist, that is positive and negative. So there are protons which are positively charged and electrons which are negatively charged. Okay, so it's very important to understand this, because on the basis of this we will be able to understand the entire concept of electric charge. Okay, so see, now when do we say that a body is positively charged? See, under normal situations, what happens when a body is neutral? Like here, this is like a sphere of atom, you can say, and these are protons and electrons. Okay. Then when a body is neutral, normally, in that case, what happens? The net charge on the body is zero, because the body has equal number of positive charge and equal number of negative charge. Okay, so it means when a body is said to be neutral, that means when there are equal number of protons and equal number of electrons. Okay, so suppose if an object has 10 protons, 10 positive charge, then it will also have 10 negative charge, 10 electrons. That is what happens in normal conditions. Okay, so suppose if there's an object having 10 electrons, and there's an object having, say, suppose 10 protons and 5 electrons, then the body overall will have a positive charge. Why? Because it has more positively charged particles, right? So similarly, if you are having an object and the object has 10 electrons and 5 protons, that means the object will have an overall of negative charge. Why? Because it has more negatively charged particles. So if the body has to be neutral, it should have equal number of protons and electrons. Now, what do we mean by positively charged body? We say that a body is positively charged. That means the net charge on the body is positive. That means the body should have more positively charged particles, right? That means the body has more protons than electrons, right? So when is this case possible? When is this possible? This is possible when an atom loses its electrons, because what happens in normal conditions, an atom has equal number of protons and electrons. You can see here, suppose blue ones are the protons and the green ones are the electrons. Now currently it's neutral, because number of protons is equal to number of electrons. You can see here are 1 2 3 4 protons and 4 electrons, right? Now what will happen if it loses one electron? So suppose it loses one electron. Now when it will lose one electron, you can see here, now there are more number of protons, because we have represented blue ones as protons. See, 1 2 3 4 protons, but electrons are only 3. It means it has more positively charged particles, right? So this becomes a positively charged body. But when it becomes a positively charged body, when it loses its one electron, right? Green ones are electrons. When it loses its one electron, it became positively charged. Okay, when by losing its electron. Okay, now in a similar way, we can explain what do we mean by negatively charged body. So it means that the overall charge of a body is negative, right? That means there should be more number of electrons. Negative charge means there should be no more number of electrons, because electrons are negatively charged. So in this case, this object this atom has equal number of electrons and protons. You can see 4 electrons and 4 protons. Now, if this atom gains one more electron, so what happens? It will have now 5 electrons, right? See, because it has gained one electron and it will have 5 electrons and 4 protons. So here, gaining electrons means this has an overall negative charge, right? So an atom becomes negatively charged. So if an object has more negative charge, so we can say that the object becomes negatively charged. So what you learned from all this, that a body is said to be positively charged body if it has more positive charge, more protons, and a body is said to be negatively charged body if it has more negative charge, that means more electrons. An atom is, at normal scenario, an atom is neutral, equal number of protons and electrons. But after losing electrons, an atom can become positively charged, and after gaining electrons, an atom can become negatively charged. So this is positively charged body and the negatively charged body.